My son is dealing with addiction that I see affecting every area of his life. I'm trying to connect with him, but he doesn't want to let me in. He says he needs to find his own way, but he is making choices that are literally breaking him. What can I do that won't push him further away?
Yeah, no, that's hard. It's a great question. It's a hard question too. It's a heartbreaking question.
Yeah.
Addiction is complicated. One of the things I always try to communicate is the importance of not breaking the relationship. So most likely, this person's son is eventually going to feel the effects of their choices. And when they feel those effects, they're going to need wisdom and love. And I think they will come to the parent if they don't break the relationship. It may be too late for prevention, but it's never too late for redemption. And I think we have to keep that in our mind with all of our kids and all the things, but especially when you're talking about something like an addiction. You know, I love the story of the prodigal son, or I would call it the loving father. It's actually in the Bible. Jesus told the story. And it's a story of a young man who took his father's inheritance and left home and wasted the money and wasted it on partying and all these kind of negative type things, and finds himself in a pig pen, Jewish, in a pig pen feeding the pigs. And even that food looked good, it says. And then one day he kind of wakes up and goes, wow, I could at least come home and be a servant to my father, and they at least get fed better. And at this point, he comes home. And the father, it's a great story, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's a great story. The father welcomes him. And they throw a party. The interesting side to it is I hope that father also didn't give him back his inheritance and all the things, because the kid had made choices. Right. So I want to give you some steps for what you do with your adult child when they make some regrettable choices. First of all, offer them tough love. I mentioned that word before. Tough love, don't confuse tough love with meanness. Don't confuse tough love with anger. I love you. I don't agree with your decisions. I don't want you to have to live with these consequences, but there are some consequences for your choices. And I'm going to love you through this, but there are consequences. So tough love says, let them live out the consequences. Secondly is don't bail them out. As parents, it's natural. We want to do this. We want to bail out our kids every time. Don't bail them out. Sometimes when we want to bail them out, that's our natural, and that's a mother's tendency, like crazy. But again, we don't bail them out. Secondly, we can't be a one-topic parent. So the son has an addiction. I'm really sorry about that. Yet that can't be the only thing we do. That son still needs to be a part of life. If the son likes to play baseball or watch baseball, you take him to a ball game. That doesn't mean that you're not frustrated like crazy that he's addicted to whatever he's addicted to. And one thing I say to parents all the time is don't dump your anger and your frustration on your kids. You got to find another place to do it, because you do have anger and you do have frustration. Please hear that. Don't say, I'm not trying to make this Pollyanna positive, let's never deal with it. But don't dump it on your kids. And then also make sure that you find support for yourself. We have to understand that we need replenishing relationships around us where we can be open and honest and saying, wow, here's what we're going through right now. And when you do that, I think that's very, very helpful. Also, I would make sure that you find the wisdom and the counsel with the difficult issues. Even the Bible says, it's a proverb, where there is no counsel the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. So with addiction, that takes it to a level that you can't handle it on your own. Too many parents try to handle that on their own. And really, truly, I would find an addiction counselor who not only could help your adult child if they'd be willing, but who can help you, and at least help you so you get the wisdom and care. And then also just make sure, this is my own opinion, you relinquish your children to God. Here's my prayer. I pray this all the time. I release my child to your loving care and your tender mercies. And sometimes that's all I got. Yes. And I think that's all we can do.